the mighty and resilient Merrimack River, carving through the communities of our great region. My name is Linda Lorden, proud president of Merrimack County Savings Bank, and like the river that serves as our namesake, we're a constant yet ever-changing presence. Because to us, it's bigger than banking. It's about powering communities and putting people first. It's about knowing where you came from and where you're going. That's Merrimack style. Visit us at themerrimack.com.
It's Friday, August 30th, 2024, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Vice President Kamala Harris has insisted in an interview that there has been no major shift in her policy position since becoming the Democratic nominee for president. Susan Ferricchio and Jeff Murdoch report Harris told CNN the most significant aspect of her policy perspective and decisions is that her values have not changed. She addressed changes to some of her positions in vague terms, explaining that after being vice president and traveling the country, it has changed how she would approach key issues. Harris did announce that she would pick one Republican to serve on her cabinet if she wins in November. Harris also held a rally in Savannah, Georgia, hoping to win the critical battleground state by attracting Democratic voters in smaller urban areas. The crowd at the rally included a mix of people from Savannah and other parts of Georgia, as well as supporters who drove from South Carolina and Florida to attend. Since entering the race in July, Harris has made the fight for Georgia far more competitive. She erased a 4 percentage point lead Donald Trump had built before President Biden dropped out of the race on July 21st. And in the Real Clear Politics average of recent polls, Trump is only ahead in Georgia by 0.3 of a percentage point. The State Department is preparing to meet with leading artificial intelligence companies on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly next month as access to the emerging technology becomes more critical than ever to foreign governments. Ambassador Nathaniel Fick, leader of the Department Cyberspace Bureau, told our Ryan Lovelace that the Biden administration wants AI to spread globally without falling into the hands of troublemakers. He said department officials will meet with representatives from companies such as Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI to formulate a plan. A federal appeals court ruled this week that social media companies can be liable for algorithms they create to promote content to their users, raising new questions about when the companies could face charges for their own speech versus the postings of others on their sites. Alex Sawyer reports the case in the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals stems from the death of a 10-year-old girl who watched a viral challenge video on TikTok that had been promoted to her by the app's algorithm. The court ruled the case could proceed because the company can't escape liability under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which generally holds internet firms harmless for postings on their sites. Legal experts say the case could finally force the Supreme Court to grapple with Section 230. And finally, the one-time cottage industry of fantasy football just keeps getting bigger, crazier, and more expensive. With the NFL set to return next week, Liam Griffin reports fantasy owners across the country are fine-tuning their rosters with bragging rights and increasingly major cash prizes hanging in the balance. The most competitive players shell out money for insider newsletters and statistical analyses that help fantasy owners pick their teams and prepare for the season. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo, wishing you and yours a safe and happy Labor Day weekend.